Namaste students. Today I am going to teach you subject General Science. In General Science, we will study the next part of chapter 6, composition of matter. In this part, we will study here about the types of elements. First, metals. Physical properties of metals. Luster. Metals in the pure state generally shines. The shine on the metallic surface is called a metallic luster. For example, if you rub the surface of metal like a gold, it starts to shine. Another example, if you rub the surface of iron, it starts to shine. This is the property of metals. Second, malleability, the property of metal by which they can be beaten into thin sheet, is known as malleability. For example, silver metal is beaten to make silver foil used for decorating sweet. This is a very familiar example for us, and therefore malleability is the physical property of metals. Ductility, it is one of the properties of metal by virtue of which they can be drawn into wire. For example, copper and iron can be drawn into wires. You are very familiar with wires. Conducting wires are used in our home. They are made up of generally aluminum or copper. Another physical property of metal, conductivity. Metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. Heat and electricity can pass through them, and therefore conducting wires are generally made up of metallic material like aluminum and copper. Sonorous. Metals produce a ringing sound when struck hard, so they are called sonorous. If you struck a iron bell with the help of rod, it start to make the sound. Metals, this is the sonorous property. Solid. All metals are solid except mercury, the only metal which is a liquid at room temperature. We can cut sodium Na and potassium K metals with the help of a knife. Mercury, sodium and potassium are exceptional metals. Means metals are very hard except these three metals. For examples of metals: iron, copper, gold, aluminum, silver, calcium. All these are examples of metals. Second here, non-metals. Physical properties of non-metals. Solid non-metals are soft and dull. They break down into powdery mass on tapping with a hammer. For example, coal and sulfur. If you have seen the sulfur is generally very soft substance or soft element. If you take a piece of coal and struck with hammer, it convert into powder form. Non-metals are not sonorous. They are poor conductor of heat and electricity except allotropy of carbon, that is graphite. Graphite is good conductor of electricity and it is used in dry cell. They do not possess metallic luster. They possesses no malleability and ductility. Example of non-metals: phosphorus, sulfur, carbon, oxygen, etc. are the examples of non-metals. Now we will go further. Types of compounds. Before starting this part of our lesson, we have to do some simple experiment at home or in school. But before doing such a experiment anywhere, we have to take care of when you are doing this experiment. Apparatus, evaporating dish, tripod stand, burner, etc. Chemicals are used: kapu, washing soda, blue vitriol, sugar, glucose, urea. See this figure. Here is a evaporating dish, here is a tripod and burner. These apparatus required to do this experiment. Keep the evaporating dish on the tripod stand. Take some kapoor in the evaporating dish. Heat the kapoor in the dish strongly with the help of burner. Find out what remains behind in the evaporating dish. Repeat the above procedure using limestone, washing soda, blue vitriol, sugar, glucose and urea instead of kapoor. What will happen? When we heat the kapoor, that kapoor convert into its a gaseous state directly. It do not convert into liquid state. It do not convert into liquid state. It directly convert into its a gaseous state. Do this activity carefully under the supervision of your teacher, as some of the powders may catch fire. They are inflammable and therefore you have to do this experiment or activity under the supervision of your teacher. You saw in the above activity that on heating strongly some compounds gives residue while others do not give residue or give a blackish residue. When we heat a sugar in a evaporating dish, what will happen? After heating, that blackish residue remains in the evaporating dish. The black residue is mainly made up of carbon. Moreover, when such compounds are strongly heated in air, combine with oxygen to form some gases, substances. In case their combustion is not completed, black colored carbon remains behind as a residue. These compounds are called organic compounds or carbon compounds. For example, material like carbohydrates, proteins, hydrocarbons, for example petrol, cooking gas, are made up of organic compounds. The kapoor, sugar, glucose and urea are used in above activity are organic compounds. On the other hand, the compounds that decompose on strong heating to leave a residue behind are inorganic compounds. Common salt, soda, rust, blue vitriol, limestone are inorganic compounds. In addition, there is one more type of compound, namely complex compound. The molecule of compound have a complex structure formed by many atoms. In the center of this structure, metal atoms are also included. Chlorophyll that contain magnesium, hemoglobin that contain iron, cyanocobalamin, vitamin B12 that contain cobalt are some examples of complex compounds. Thank you for watching this video.